Hello, I'm Randall Whiteman. Today I'll be running through the structure of a typical program in Epicor ERP version 10 using the standard Epicor demo instance. Let's get started. So we've logged into Epicor and I'll go into the favorites and open up the customer maintenance application. The first part of the program interface that we'll focus on is the program menu toolbar, which is in the top left of the screen. So the first three toolbars, menus, are common across all applications: the File, Edit and Tools. One entry in the Tools menu, which we'll focus on, is the Options. And just to say that when you first open an application, go into the Tools, Options and turn on Memory Cache, which will make it faster to load the application next time you go into the application. It means that you're only downloading the data for the application, not the structure of the application itself from the Epicor server. Okay, and then the Actions menu is specific to the program that is currently open. In this case, we are showing actions that relate to the customer maintenance application, and later in the demo we'll show sales order entry, and we'll see the actions are very different, specific to sales order entry. And we also have standard Epicor help as the last menu. Okay, so there are a number of ways of setting up hotkeys in Epicor. The standard Microsoft Alt key can get to so if we press Alt, you can get to the File, Edit, Tools by either just using the normal Alt and the underlined letter. So in this case Alt F will bring up the file, and then we can use the arrow keys to move up and down the menu structure using a cross. And so the normal Microsoft standard way of using the Alt key for navigation just makes it a bit faster if users are using the keyboard more than the mouse. They don't have to go to the mouse to get to the actions and file menu. Okay, so next is the standard toolbar, and on the left hand side, the buttons, is the new button. So there's the new button itself, and there's also a drop down, and we'll see in the drop down there are many options for new, what we can do. So it's a good time just to explain the basic structure of the Epicor application. So the forms, the sheets, are in a hierarchical nature. So under Customer, we see the Customer tab, and we're currently showing the Detail, Customer Detail. If we move across under Customer, we also have Additional, which is a different sheet. Now, how this relates to the New button, if we have, for instance, the Contacts. Now, Contacts is stored in a different table to the customer information itself. So if we drop down, we can see New Contact. So when we have a customer showing, we're displaying the customer detail, or we are creating a new customer, New Contact will become active, and we can create a new customer contact. When we are on the Contacts screen itself, clicking the New button will create the customer contact, because the context is currently the contacts. Okay, so that's the New button. Then we have Save, Delete, and so on. And there are other buttons. Specific to mention is the Clear button. So if we have data, if we have a record showing, and we want to make sure that we clear the screen so we can load up a new customer, you can click the Clear button just to be confident that all the existing data has been cleared from the application. There's also the Undo button. So if we have mistakenly created a new Contacts, for instance, then we can use the Undo to clear that last action. Okay. Now, next along is the search functionality. So we've got the search button here. Now on the screen showing there are two ways of searching for a customer. We can use the search button here, and also when there's master data, So this is where we enter a customer number, either a new or existing customer, and although it's not shown as a clickable button, when we have these highlighted field labels, they are a button, and we show the ellipsis, the 3 dots next to it. We can click on that. That will bring up the customer search. Close down that one. Same as, since we are in the customer maintenance application, the search at the top will bring us up to customer search. Okay. Now, the search screen, there's lots of functionality. I'll just show the basic functionality. The sort by and starting at are common across all data search screens, and then the following fields, territory and customer type in this instance, are specific to the data being searched for, in this instance the customer search. Okay, so we won't put any, we enter data in here to filter the search, and then we can click the search button. In this case I just did an open search. Okay, now so that will bring up the customers or the data matching the filtered criterion. Now, just like normal Microsoft, you can click, you can shift to choose multiple, you can use control to choose non-consecutive, and you can also down the bottom select all to select all of the records. In this case, we'll just select just 3. And OK to bring those customers back. Now, the customer maintenance application itself is single customer specific, but the records we just chose up in the navigation, we can see the 3. So if we want to click on for Barriston Engineering, now the Barriston customer data is shown. In this case we'll keep with Addison, and you can use the back and forward first and last buttons to move between the selected records. Okay, now also on the data, the master data input field, you can right click. Now this one is not obvious. You can right click and bring up the context menu, and the really important point here is the open with functionality, so that you can go to another application and a related application to the one we're currently in, the customer maintenance, and we can go to the other application specifically in the context of the currently selected data, so the customer Addison. In this case we can say create a sales order, or we can go to the customer tracker. In Epicor, the inquiry screens, inquiry applications, are called trackers. Okay, so let's go to the customer tracker, and we'll bring that up. I'm not sure if I have that memory cached or not. It's taking a little while, maybe I don't. So what we'll see is on the left hand side we have the tree view. Now this is showing specific information, so it's a programmed interface. It's not showing everything, but it's like a shortcut to get to, for instance, price list. So price list 09 L2, we could go in and show financial price lists, and we see there the 2 price lists. So this would be a way of just going straight to a shortcut to that particular information, and similarly with contacts. Okay, now in this one we also have the ability to expand the tree and collapse the tree, and so we'll kind of have a look at grids now, and I could use various pieces of information in here, for instance invoicing information. Today we'll use the orders, so I'll have a look at all orders. Now because there are so many related pieces of data in this one customer tracker, It's like we've got many applications built into one. When we bring up the customer, it doesn't automatically retrieve the data, because we would be retrieving so much data that we wouldn't need. So by default, we need to go and retrieve the data. Now the grid in Epicor, grid functionality is really like, there's a lot of Excel-like functionality. So I'll just show, obviously there's many business cases of what data should be shown. Without any particular reason, I'll just show the functionality. So you can resequence columns. So the order column is currently left. Say we want to bring the line across, we just hold down on the header and drag the header to move the column. So let's move, so line, PO, and let's say we also would like to see the need by date, which is over here. We can just bring that across, and we also would like the part and the quantity. So here's the part and here's the quantity of the sales order. This is the sales order line information. Okay, so that's moving the columns around. Now say we'd like to group the data. So in this instance, let's just right click on the grid headers, and we need to activate the group by functionality. So just click on show group by. Okay, now the field that we would like to, the data we would like to group by, all we need to do is drag the header, the column header, into this drag a column header here area, and let go of the button, and we can see it's now grouping by the customer's PO reference, purchase order reference. Okay. Now say we'd like to also see, okay, on the customer's purchase order reference, how many, so what's the quantity of product? Doesn't matter across all the different types of products that have been ordered, just how many product. So we'd like to do some aggregation. So again, let's right click on the header area and activate show summaries. Now we can see the aggregation symbol comes up, the summaries symbol, and on the quantity, let's choose sum. So we'll sum the quantity, and we can see we have other summary calculation, average, count, max, min. Okay, and we get the sum down here. Okay, we also have the ability to filter. So again, right click the column header, activate show grid filters, and now we have the familiar filter funnel symbol. And say we'd like to filter on the date, we can choose just an existing, filter by an existing value. Just click on the value, and we have some others including a custom. I won't go through the functionality in this particular instance, but we do have specific functionality of custom and the ability to add multiple criteria in the custom filter. Now, one of the very cool features of the Epicor grids and standard in the standard ERP application is the ability to extract to Excel very simply. So anywhere, just right click on the grid and copy to Excel, and in just a moment, and it will bring up, and it's also grouping by the grouping as it did in the application, in the Epicor application, as we can see here, including the summary of the quantity field. Okay, with the grid functionality, if we are in an entry application, so if we are entering sales order lines, for instance, there is a grid in the sales order entry application where we can just cut and paste. So in this case, it's not an entry, so it's not activated, but you can paste insert to create new records, in a transactional or a data entry grid, and you can also paste update. So what you can do is select data from a grid, take it out to Excel, update use calculations in Excel to update the values, and then paste back and update the values in the Epicor application. Makes for very fast data maintenance using the core standard application. Now we'll go and have a look at the sales order entry, and we'll have a look at some of the sheet application, sheet functionality. Okay, so the other part to note is if we leave the this particular orders, the all orders tab, the sheet set like this, then it will remain like that for this particular logged on user. So you get the grid set up as you would like it, and then every time you go back into the application, it's there in the same format. Alright, so let's come out of customer tracker. We've closed down the customer tracker. To close down an application, you can either file, exit, or just use the X in the top right hand corner. And let's go over to order entry, sales order entry. Alright, now, so just got let's just put an order in. I believe this is one that has some information including multiple lines. It does, there are 5 lines. So by default we can see that we have a summary on the sales order entry, and also the header information, including groupings of information, additional information about the sales order, miscellaneous charges, comments for instance. There's no data in this particular order. And also at the line level we have the detail of one particular line. We have a list of multiple lines, and this is where we can insert additional lines. And we have, say, miscellaneous charges, say freight or other service charges, and also we have comments. So now I'm going to show just a way of, with the standard application, how we can use actually first of all, let's see the actions menu. So we'll see here there are many actions, and often the actions menu have sub-menus. So at the order level we have certain actions, order lines, something called a release in Epicor, credit card, and we also see that we have the ability to get information from a quote or print a sales order acknowledgement document or a pro forma invoice directly from the sales order entry. So there's access to a lot of additional information, and this is in addition to using the right-click open with to get to other applications related to this sales order. Okay, what I'm going to show is the ability to use tear-off placement of sheets so that we can rearrange the screen and just show it a little more user-friendly. It's not customization, this is no code changes, it's just the ability to reformat a screen for this logged on user. Okay, so those sheets that I showed earlier, let's say we'd like to see, we commonly go into at the header level, the detail, the miscellaneous charges and the comments, and let's say at the line level we often go into the detail, the list of all the lines, and so for each line we look at miscellaneous charges and comments. Let's just look at a way that we can set up those header and line screens to be a little more user friendly. Okay, so first of all at the tabs we can rearrange the tabs by clicking and dragging the tabs. I won't do it in this case. But the header, so what I'll show here is we can show the detail. We also click on the Order Miscellaneous Charges tab and just drag it, and that will tear off that particular tab and we can place it elsewhere. Now I'm using a demo machine, so let me see if, yes, it has worked first time, excellent. And we're also going to see, so now we can show the detail and miscellaneous charges on the same screen. Now let's also show comments. So there are many places we can tear off this sheet and dock that sheet. In this case, what I'd like to do, if it's going to work for me, is tear off and place it, excellent, and it's now we're showing. Now in this case there are no miscellaneous charges and no comments. But if there were miscellaneous charges and comments on this particular order, then we would see the detail information for the header, so the header information, and we would also see at the header level miscellaneous charges and comments. Now at the lines level, what we'd like to see is a list of the lines, so just a basic list for a start. So let's move those that list so we see everything at one time. Now what we would do here, we would rearrange like we saw with the grids earlier. We would rearrange the grid to show the most important, most used information on the left hand side. I won't do that in this instance, we're just showing a quick demo of the sheet tear-off placement. And in the same way we can also show miscellaneous charges and also comments. So now if we're showing the detail, we can then also we can auto hide the tree view if we're not going to use the tree view to give us some more screen real estate. And obviously we can expand the whole sales order entry application to show the full width of the user interface, the device that the user is using. But now we can scroll down the list of the sales orders, and we can see on one screen multiple pieces of information against that sales order line. Okay. Now to save layout, we just right click anywhere on the interface to bring up the context menu and choose Save Layouts. Now if we don't want to save the layout, say we've accidentally used the tear-off functionality and moved the tabs around accidentally, we can reset layouts to base, or if we have saved a layout that we would like and we have accidentally made changes, we can reset the layouts to the last saved state. Now also here we can see something at a transactional level, a transactional program. We can see the currency toolbar. So the currency is currently US dollars. And we'll have a quick look through now in more detailed look at the options that are available for programs. So we choose the Tools menu and Options. Now under General, we have the ability to auto-populate data. I won't show that here. We briefly mentioned the memory cache, so we should activate memory cache so it's faster to bring up the application next time you bring it up. We also have hotkeys, so users who are high volume users doing fast transactional entry prefer to try and use the keyboard often rather than use the mouse, and to move around the interface you can set up hotkeys. Again, I won't do them, but we can see for instance the cut and the delete have, so copy already has the standard Microsoft Control-C hotkey already assigned for the copy command. There are many commands to control different aspects of the interface, and you can set the shortcut by choosing the command and then setting the shortcut, the F keys, the Shift and F keys, Control and a letter or number, and different combinations. Okay, and now we also have in the dialogues, so there's different the ability to turn on or off a prompt to come up when actions happen, when update, adding, deleting or undoing actions occur in the system, and different actions such as confirm an update on row change. Currently we would not receive a prompt when a row is changed. Confirm an update on a primary key change when data exists, then we would get a prompt currently. If we'd like to turn it off, we just take off the check mark. Okay, and also under Global options, we have the ability to set up the status bar. So I like this particular setup. So if a user screenshots their current entry screen because they're having a problem with it, for instance, what we can see is we have the status in the bottom left is ready, and we also show the currently logged on user. It shows system manager, and then we also have chosen the company site and time. So we are in Epicor Education, the main site, and what the current time is. This was a Whiteman Online presentation. For more great content, subscribe to the Whiteman Online YouTube channel and visit the website. I look forward to seeing you soon at Whiteman Online.